You ever feel like no matter how much you achieve, it's just never enough? Like you should be happy, but instead you're feeling drained, anxious, and kind of lost. If so, I'm right there with you. Turns out, it's not the lazy or unmotivated who struggle the most. It's often the people trying the hardest to win at life. And today I want to break down why that happens and what you could do to fix it. There's this valuable idea called the gap and the gain. It comes from a highly rated book that I've read a few times called The Gap and the Gain by Dan Sullivan and Dr. Ben Hardy. And it completely changed how I see progress. When you're in what's called the gap, you are more prone to look and measure yourself from an ideal version of where you think you should be. And when you're in this mindset, you always feel like you're falling short. I was actually in the gap pretty recently, and I realized this because I remembered this book. So I listened to it again, and it came up when I was training for boxing. I wanted to level up, and I knew, I was talking to my coach. He said, well, if you want to get better, faster, you need to start sparring. I really wanted to level up, and I know the beauty in the art of boxing is not how you throw your hands, but it's mostly in how you can evade punches. That's where the beauty is. I felt pretty confident putting on that headgear and the mouthpiece in because I had been training for quite a while now and pretty hard. But it's a whole new ballgame when you're in there with a dude standing across from you and he's throwing his fists at your face. It's definitely an adrenaline dump. After a few rounds of adrenaline-fueled chaos, I was exhausted. And, of course, then my hands started to drop. Well, that's when my head was getting popped back. Blood coming from my nose. It definitely gets in your head. Physically, it didn't really hurt all that much, but mentally, I felt like I was letting myself down and my energy levels tanked. I felt so heavy, all because I didn't perform like I thought I should have. But on the other hand, when you live in the gain, you look at how far you've come, not measuring backwards. You start to actually see and feel your growth. So, although I was getting tuned up in there, I realized that 6 months prior, I most likely would have taken a lot more damage. It took some time to reflect on how far I've come. Not measuring myself against these other guys and my expectations of myself, rather measuring myself to where I was months ago. Just that simple shift in mindset elevated my energy levels, and I felt so much lighter, floating around with more ease and confidence. A lot of high achievers spend most of their time in the gap. That's why they stay stuck in this loop of never being satisfied, even when they're accomplishing great things. There's also this sneaky thing called the hedonic adaptation, or the hedonic treadmill. Basically, we get used to everything. Success, money, praise, all of it. So every time you hit a goal, the excitement fades. And then you're just right back to chasing a new one. That next horizon is always out there. You're just always chasing something that you never really catch up to. So if you're not careful, then you'll just keep running and never actually arrive in your mind. A lot of high achievers live by to-do lists, but very few keep an accomplished list. Think about that. We're so quick to focus on what still needs to be done, but rarely give ourselves credit for what we've already accomplished. That's a recipe for burnout. Start tracking your wins. Celebrate them. Your brain needs evidence that you're making progress. This could be as simple as a check mark beside the completed goal. Keep this list visible and consistently remind yourself of the wins. There is a tough truth here. And I say this with the most respect and compassion. Statistically, it's often the intelligent, most aware people who struggle the most with mental health, and even with suicidal thoughts. Why? Well, because they're aware of actually how hard life is. They're constantly analyzing, trying to optimize, trying to win. But life isn't always winnable in the way that we thought. And if that pressure isn't managed, it can crush you. A lot of us are taught to chase happiness through things. Income, status, goals. But lasting peace doesn't come from external wins. It comes from internal shifts. High achievers have to learn how to feel enough, and even when they haven't finished the next goal yet. Here's a mindset shift that really helped me. Even a failed goal is a win. As long as you tried, whether you succeeded or failed, it's still something that you can learn from. Happy people don't define success by the outcome. They define it by how much they've grown from their journey. If you don't feed your mind intentionally, it'll wander, and often into negativity. That's just how our brains work. Start aligning your input with where you want to go. Listen to your audiobooks, podcasts, even YouTube content like this. It keeps your mind tuned to your mission. Here's a powerful exercise that I've been doing for quite some time. I just recently learned about what it was all about and why I was doing it. So take a moment right now. Close your eyes and visualize. Imagine something or someone you deeply love. A person, a place, a privilege you may be taken for granted. Like I said, I remember doing this before, but I never really knew that it was very beneficial. I thought there was something deeply wrong with me, to be honest. It would literally bring tears to my eyes thinking about my dog dying or my mom dying. But once I snapped out of the vision, I felt this gasp of relief that they're okay. And an incredible feeling of gratitude would come over me. I did this just the other night, laying in bed with my boys. I got 2 young boys, 9 and a 5-year-old. And it's such a heavy and uncomfortable feeling of losing them. But touching them and holding them right after brought this unbelievable realization of how blessed I truly am. My heart is so full. So feel that, let that sink in. The mental subtraction pulls you right back into the presence, and it makes your blessings real again. Don't forget to write in your gratitude journal daily. This keeps you in that higher frequency feeling and helps keep those dark clouds away. If you are a high achiever and you're feeling miserable and kind of unfulfilled, you're not broken. You're just running a game with impossible rules. But the good news is you can change the game. Remember, start measuring backwards. Start celebrating your progress and wins. Take time to bask in the feeling of accomplishment and pride. There is no sweeter feeling than the sense of a job well done. Start tuning into what actually matters. Did any of this resonate with you? Drop a comment below and let me know what hit the hardest. Or share it with someone else who's grinding right now that may be in the gap and forgetting to be grateful for what they already have or what they've already accomplished. We all need reminders from time to time to acknowledge that growth. It's hard to feel thankful if you're not aware of it. Thank you for being here. Keep loving yourself. Live that high quality life that you all deserve. I love you, and we'll see you in the next one.